Emmanuel, thank you so much for that great insight on how to build a strong foundation for your franchise business. And I encourage you, if you haven't already, to take advantage of a free consultation by clicking on the offer button on your computer screen and filling out a brief survey, and someone on either Emmanuel or someone on our team will follow up with you to talk about your unique situation and see how she can be a resource to you to help you build that strong foundation. Because quite honestly, if you don't have for certain a strong foundation, the reality is anything you build on that could be ultimately unstable, including our next topic, which is the power of digital marketing, which is my area of expertise. So before I get into the content I put together for you, I just want to share a little bit about the company Vivial that I represent, because you might be asking yourself, who in the world is Vivial, right? And you might be equally surprised to find out that we're actually a 106-year-old company that got our start in print ad back when the Yellow Pages started over 100 years ago. So we've been in print ad for a very long time, but we're also an early adopter with the age of the internet to realize that was the future. And over the course of a 7-year period of time, we actually purchased 15 different technology companies in the digital marketing space, specifically to be able to provide you a one-stop shop, award-winning technology that can handle everything you need from a digital marketing standpoint and provide all that economy of scale that comes with the backing of a company like Vivial and the financial savings to your business. In addition to that, we're also one of 17 Google Premier partners in the entire country. There's only 17 companies that have this status with Google, which is the highest level of partnership, and we're one of them. Now, the reason why that should be significant to you is that Google actually pays us to manage your AdWords account, so we don't have to charge you a management fee. And we provide all of our services to you without any out-of-pocket expense to you, outside of course, you have to have a marketing budget, but all of that goes to your pay-per-click campaign instead of going to our pocket, because Google's going to compensate us because they want you to work with companies like us that have the highest level amount of training, because they know you're going to get above average results with a company like Vivial. So that's enough on Vivial. What I want to do now is just transition to this portion of the presentation, which is the power of digital marketing. And we're going to define what digital marketing is based on 3 components that we're going to be talking about in great detail, that including websites as being the first one we're going to discuss. Then we're going to talk about search engine optimization, or SEO, which is really any organic searches, search results. And then the last thing is search engine marketing, which is any paid search results. So when you pay to get found on the search engines. And I'm going to give you 3 tips for each component that you can take away in order to improve your digital marketing prowess. So let's talk about websites, because the first question I want to pose to you is, does your website resonate? And the reality is that there's 3 tips for creating an effective website that you can use to evaluate the website that you built yourself or that your franchise or provided to you, to make sure it is actually going to be a website that resonates with your audience. The first tip, and this is important because without this you won't even be found most likely, is that mobile responsive. And I want to emphasize, not mobile friendly. Mobile friendly is outdated, and Google does not like mobile friendly, because mobile friendly means you have 2 versions of your website, one for desktop and one for mobile devices. And then back in April of 2015, Google said enough is enough. You've got to make your website responsive, meaning that as the window pane that you're looking at, your window browser shifts in size, that your website will respond to the change in size and reform to fit the size of the browser, whether it's a mobile device or a desktop version. And one of the advantages of our free consultation is that we actually will audit your website just to make sure that it's mobile responsive, not just mobile friendly. The second tip is, you got to get your messaging right. I can't tell you how many businesses I look at their website and what do I find on their homepage? It's all about what they do and who they are. But here's the problem. As much as we think that that's important, it's not important yet. Because if a prospective client is on your website, we can probably all agree that something happened. Some problem, some interruption of their day-to-day life occurred, that they now are motivated enough to fix it, meaning they have a problem. So all they care about, all anyone cares about when they have a problem, is knowing that someone's going to be able to fix it. And the way someone ironically believes someone's going to be able to fix the problem is, first and foremost, can they articulate the problem? And if they can articulate the problem, most people will automatically assume without even further validation that you probably have a solution. Because most marketers don't even start with the client's problem. They talk about who they are and what they do, thinking that it's going to help people see that they can get the problem solved, but they aren't going to get to that point unless they know that you understand their problem first and foremost, which is why the pictures that you have, particularly on your homepage, have to say the right 1,000 words, have to convey that this is your problem. We get it. We understand. And then follow it up with some short verbiage, 5 to 7 words, that says literally what's going on in the prospect's mind as it relates to the problem. Basically saying, hey, is this your problem? Guess what? We have an easy button. Just click on our tip number 3, which is clear call to action. Give them clear, simple to follow instructions of what to do once they've identified, yep, that's my problem. They must know how to fix this. What do I do next? Oh, I click on this button to learn more or fill out this form, or I call them. Whatever it is, give them a clear call to action. Because remember, the single purpose for any website is to convert visitors to qualified buyers. That's it. It's not there to sell them. It's not there to do anything more than just convert visitors to qualified buyers so you have contact information to follow up and you know who to follow up with. That's the primary purpose of your website. So let's move on now to the second component of search engine optimization. I want to differentiate this a little bit from local versus national search engine optimization, because there's a lot of confusion out there about what a lot of SEO experts are talking about, and a lot of them are talking about national things that will help you on a national level. But here's the question I want to pose to you, and that is, who would you prefer to reach if you had to choose? A local audience within 20 to 25 mile radius of one of your locations, or a national audience all around the country? The reality is most people, if we're being honest, are going to say, I want a local audience because I might not even be able to sell someone on a national level. And even if I could, I'm going to have a much easier time selling people that are close to my business, right? So here's why I bring this up. What an SEO company should do for you to help you with local SEO is dramatically different from national SEO. So let's talk about what you should be doing from a local SEO standpoint and the 3 mistakes that I see franchises making all the time. The first one being online directories are not optimized. Now you might be saying, well, what are online directories? Well, online directories are all the directories you see on the screen. Many of them you don't even know about or haven't ever visited before, but they matter to Google. Google wants to see your local business information profile filled out in all of these online directories and hundreds of other ones that you probably never heard of as well too. The reason why is 50% of all Google searches are online directory listings. And Google is going to feel more confident that you're a legitimate business, you're doing all the right things if you're actually putting yourself out there in as many places as possible. In addition, when you fill out these directories, you absolutely must make sure that every directory has the same exact business name, same exact address, and same exact phone number. And the reason why is that imagine if you had a different phone number on different directories. Google has no way of knowing which number is the most current number. And if Google is going to recommend it, it's going to be recommend your listing with your phone number. It's going to be concerned that that person that searched for this might call and get the wrong business. And guess who gets the blame? Google does, which is why Google is going to rank better businesses that are in all the directories and their business name, address, and phone number are all the same in all the directories and are optimized in that way. The next mistake I see people making is that once you have your directories optimized, the next thing to do is create content, right? And not just content every once in a while, but content on a consistent basis and new content. So we can't just borrow the content that our franchisor is providing us, because we want to write about localized content, things relevant to your local area, and be writing content. Typically, rule of thumb, what we found from our clients, our thousands of clients we work with, is that if you do 2 articles a month versus just 1 article a month, there's a 4-time increase in the amount of times your content is our client's content is showing up on Google searches. So we say a minimum of 2 new pieces of content every single month, and don't take time off. Don't write 24 articles in January and then take the rest of the year off. You got to be consistent. Again, this is something that we offer service to help our clients with. The third mistake that we see franchises running into is a lack of a proactive social media engagement. So what do I mean by that? Well, most people, if they're doing anything on social media, it's if there's a review, they'll respond to it, which is certainly a good thing, but that's reactive. It's missing the bigger part of what social media can be for your business and getting found locally, and that is proactively reaching out and posting things on the social media outlets to engage your prospects, your clients, and get them talking about your content via sharing or commenting. Because once that happens, Google starts looking at your content saying, this is socially validated as being valuable. The value on a local SEO goes through the roof once you start getting that interaction. So be proactive with it. Don't wait for people to find you. Reach out via social media to engage them and get them talking about your content. So the question I want to pose at this point before we go into the last component is, how are you doing? And if you're saying to yourself, maybe there's some areas I can improve upon, then take advantage of that offer on your screen to have a free consultation by myself or someone on my team. We're going to walk you through these very concepts and learn more about your business, see how we can help you enact some of these things. And best of all, as we're going to see in the next area, we can actually do some of this at no out-of-pocket expense to you as well too. So let's talk about now search engine marketing, also known as or thought of as online paid marketing. And what I want to do now is, instead of going through boring logistics of what it is and how ads get created and all that good stuff that we can do in a one-on-one consultation, I want to share with you a hot topic I get a lot of questions on, and that is, should I be advertising in Google or Facebook? Right? Them being the two biggest opportunities online to advertise. And here's my answer. Yes, and it depends. Yes, you should be advertising probably in both of them, but it depends on ultimately what you're trying to do. So let me break down the difference between Google and Facebook so you have an idea of how one might fit with what you're trying to do. So Google, one of the pros, the primary pro of Google over Facebook is that you can, if you get the right keyword, which is again something that Google again pays us to work with you to figure out, so you don't have to, but if you get the right keyword, you know it's the right keyword because it equals a ready-to-buy buyer. Emphasis on the ready-to-buy. That's the huge advantage of Google has over Facebook, is if you get the keyword right, you have a ready-to-buy buyer that's going to buy from you relatively quickly. The con, though, is you have limited demographic information available to you to be able to make sure that you're getting the right buyer, because maybe that buyer is going to buy something from you but is not your ideal candidate. And that's where Facebook comes in, because that's where Facebook is very strong. The pro is you have virtually unlimited demographic information, and if you hone in the right demographic information, it should equal the right buyer. The challenge with Facebook is that it's promoting to people that haven't engaged in a process like Googling a problem versus educating, which means that it's hard to know whether you're going to be promoting these services to someone who's ready to buy. So there's pros and cons to both strategies, and depending on your unique situation, one may be more valuable over the other, but at the end of the day, budget permitting, you should really be doing both avenues. And the best part about this is that we have services and solutions made available to you to help you navigate both of these complex worlds and do it in a way where you can not only get a ready-to-buy buyer, but that buyer also can fit your ideal demographics, making them the right buyer as well too. So, to wrap up, how can Vivial help really comes down to a couple basic things. One, we can help by auditing your website as part of that free consultation to make sure it's a website that's going to resonate with your target audience. We're also going to work with you to help fix the 3 franchise SEO mistakes that I talked about and show you how we can do this with our award-winning technology with examples of clients probably just like you, and results that they're actually getting as part of that free consultation. And lastly, we can help you find those ready-to-buy buyers that fit your ideal demographics. And when we have any one-on-one conversation as part of that free consultation, I'll share with you how we're able to do that in more detail. But with that being said, I just want to share what's next before we move on to Jody Milbrat talking about how to protect what you build, and that is to take a second to click on the offer, to fill out a brief survey to let us know what it is about the digital marketing that we can be of greatest value, so myself or someone on my team can follow up with you and just have a conversation and see where it takes us from there with that free consultation. So with that being said, I encourage you to do that, and then I'm going to before we pass it over to Jody to talk about her area of expertise again about how you keep what you build in the franchise world.